2023 was the year of big ups and downs for Genshin Impact. We got to explore one of the arguably best regions in the game so far, tried new game mechanics, and learned important new lore. At the same time, we as the player base went through a long period of stagnation when the game's updates seemed boring, like a filler episode of an action-packed anime. There were problems and even huge scandals that Genshin impacted not only this game, but the video game industry as a whole. Today, I invite you to take a look at last year's happenings and discuss whether certain things that ratioed our fandom were really as bad as they seemed to be. Aside from that, I will also share my thoughts on 2023 content, like events and characters. And I hope you will tell me your thoughts as well in the comment section. Don't forget to like this video, it really helps my channel when you interact with the content I make, and without further premise, let's get into Genshin Impact's 2023 recap. We entered 2023 with the second part of version 3.3, All Senses Clear, All Existence Void. The update itself brought us 2 points of interest for this video. Wanderer, the alter ego of Scaramouche, was released as a playable character, and the new permanent gameplay, Genius Invocation TCG, was added to the game. Personally, I wasn't happy with Genius Invocation, and I saw quite a bit of people complaining about Genshin's mini Hearthstone, especially later in the year when more content, however, is released was connected to this minigame. I would have loved to play it sometimes during events, the same way we get to play Wind Trace, but giving it such importance annoyed me as a devoted player. I chose Genshin Impact for its genre and playstyle. If I wanted to play a tabletop game, there are so many of them I'd rather get into. Some people said it was However's answer to the PvP issue, but there is no way to showcase your builds or combat skills in Genius Invocation. Wanderer was a hot topic not only because he was called weak or a bad 5-star character, but also because of a huge controversy in Chinese part of the fandom that horrified the rest of the community. Because of Scaramouche and further on Wanderer's popularity and his relationship with Nahida, a character loved by a large portion of Chinese players, he received a lot of hate from certain extreme fans who, aside from, showcasing expectable hater behaviors, also made inappropriate art and text posts about Nahida and Wanderer, came up with a petition to remove the character from the game, and allegedly even hurt animals. We didn't get too many updates on how MiHoYo handled this situation, but notably Wanderer, who previously was one of the more important characters in the game's story, hasn't been a part of any new events for months at this point. On January 18th, we once again celebrated Rite Festival in the game's version 3.4, the Exquisite Night Chimes. It was an overall well-received update with great characters, meaningful quests in Sumeru Desert, and long-awaited Rite gifts. New skins for Ayaka and Lisa gained a lot of attention on social media, and Liyue's character's reunion at the festival left our community comforted with nostalgia. Little did we know what would happen soon. Close to the release of the next update, Tighnari's English voice actor was accused of inappropriate interactions with his underage fans, which led to a huge scandal. However's fired the voice actor and were in the process of recasting, but version 3.5, Windbloom's Breath, featured Tighnari, and lots of people couldn't enjoy the update because of the voice actor's actions. And although filled with great character interaction, the third Windbloom festival felt less festive. At the same time, Dia, a long-awaited 5-star Pyro Claymore wielder, got tons of poor reviews. The community was generally upset with what people called the worst 5-star character, and even though many content creators, whether sponsored by However's or not, tried to lighten the mood, it just didn't feel like a fair deal to put so much effort into a limited 5-star character to make it work. On the better note, Cariber, the new act of the Archon Quest Chapter 3, was legendary. Not only it provided us tons of new lore information and was overall a well-written story, but also sparked the hilarious "Is Kaya a Hilichurl?" debate in the fandom. On April 12, version 3.6, a Parade of Providence was released, and Tighnari received a new voice from Zachary Gordon, the voice behind Mika. This of course led to another huge dispute within our fandom, but Isn't it so much better to argue about our tastes rather than an objectively terrible person? Baizhu and Kavei were released as playable characters, and although Kavei had quite a bit of hype surrounding him as a part of Sumeru crew and of an extremely popular character pairing, I felt like this wasn't the right time for Baiju's banner, since the interest in this character visibly dropped compared to the previous years. We got a rather average event, heavily carried by popular Sumeru characters, and another desert area, which at that point was slightly disappointing for many players. What was a major disappointment, at least for me and my friends who play the game, was 3.7 update called Duel, the Summoner's Summit. Look at this promotional art. Compared to just any other, it tells you well how boring the update was. In fact, I don't remember anything from it but Kirara, which is quite sad. I believe this character could have gotten so much more fan support if she was released at the right time, not at the time of a literal death of any interest to this game. At this point in time, it was the start of the summer 2023. Everyone were waiting for the news about Fontaine, so naturally the full version of the game dedicated to Genius Invocation TCG didn't get much appreciation. And even the next version 3.8 Secret Summer Paradise didn't provide much optimism to the player base. It was still well received. After all, it was our first Genshin summer without the Golden Apple Archipelago. Instead, we were transported to a place called Velurium Mirage, where we joined Klee, Kaya, Eula, Collei, and suddenly Sangonomiya Kokomi on their journey within this magical themed park. Surely it was a literal breath of fresh air after all the desert, but it had its own shortcomings, the biggest of which was Klee's paid skin. They changed cosmetics, sure, but now the animation stopped making any sense, which made it look sloppy. Did no one notice it, or did no one care? Kaya's free skin, on the other hand, got lots of positive attention along with his hangout event. Our community is always happy to interact with the cavalry captain, it seems. Personally, I felt like Kokomi was out of place in this event and her part wasn't written well. Her interactions with other characters felt bland. But it's very much subjective, so let me know how you feel about it in the comments. Generally, the first half of the year felt like a slow decay of interest towards the game, especially with the release of Honkai Star Rail, the newest Hoyoverse product, in late April 2023. It instantly lured in many Genshin players, and with the game's half-empty state at that point, the fanbase shifted towards the new game, with its sci-fi theme and beautifully made characters. Would it be controversial to think Hoyoverse may have bored Genshin players on purpose to draw more attention to Star Rail? Anyhow, this game did a lot of similar things better than Genshin Impact, like the way daily quests worked, or the automated combat. Understandably, it is a different subgenre, but still the fact that it felt so good made lots of old Genshin fans bitter, and it wasn't the last time that year. On August 12, 2023, we reached Fontaine, and that's it. It's been perfect ever since. The region and its characters received nothing but love and tons of hype aside from minor "I don't like this character" complaints. We did see some allegations of poor AI usage in the art for some web event, but let's be honest, Hoyoverse definitely used AI more than once that year, considering poor art on TCG cards and extremely dull dialogues in late Sumeru quests and events. Some people may say that the current version 3.4, Roses and Muskets, was a little less eventful than the rest of Fontaine content so far, but it is also the first update for this region not featuring the Archon quest. Plus, we got a lot of stuff to wait for in the upcoming Lantern Rite, from what I've seen on the internet. One last so-called scandal, or more like an incident induced by the fury of Genshin Impact's community, was caused at the end of 2023 by none other than Honkai Star Rail. On the developer's stream, it was announced that the players would be able to get a free limited 5-star character Dr. Ratio, and the fandom was furious, and the trolling on the side of Star Rail fans was unstoppable. In my humble opinion, as Genshin Impact players, we get to choose a free 4-star character on Lantern Rite, and we also get a free 4-star like Lynette or Collei when we enter a new region. 4 stars are much harder to get in the game with nearly 80 playable characters, so this gift seems more valuable to me. At the same time, there is no map exploration in Star Rail that could give you as much primogems, no hangout events or reputation rewards, We have more streams of in-game currency farming than Star Rail players, so it's not as big of a problem as some people in the fandom made it to be. And if you received a free 5-star character, what if it was the one you wouldn't like, similarly to Dia's situation, who after the backlash now became a standard character? Perhaps all of that is whoever's well-orchestrated plan to draw the attention away from Genshin Impact when they would have less content prepared, and towards Honkai Star Rail that will soon be getting a major update. What are your thoughts on the matter? What was your most memorable event in Genshin Impact in 2023? Let's discuss in the comments, and now I thank you for watching. Don't forget to like this video, and I will see you in the next one.